So this video is for 9th and 10th graders in early November, ready to start the annotated bibliography. So 10th graders, you will be, if you haven't finished Process Journal 11, you need to finish that first. 9th graders, you will have more Process Journal entries because you did not have to write the paper. So your number might be a little different. But overall, this video is just about the annotated bibliography with directions, so this should work for both 9th and 10th graders. If for some reason it doesn't, you can have your teacher email me, and I will make sure to go back and fix the link or create two different videos for 9th and 10th grade. So your annotated bibliography, the vast majority of November is dedicated to completing this. 10th graders, you might be interrupted by one day to go see the Pathways to Teaching CP program presentation. So remember, this is still within that ATLs, the approaches to learning, to use your time and organization really well to accomplish your task. So you have the month of November to finish your annotated bibliography, and you'll see how big this section might be. I think because you have 5 sources that you have to write an annotated bibliography about, you probably should be finishing one annotated bib every 2 class periods to be on track for the month, depending on how the days kind of sort out. Because when we look at our calendar for November, you have 1, 2, 3, that's 10th grade, 4, 5. There's no school during 6, 7, so there's very limited time. So you need to be really thoughtful about how you're using your time in class to get this done. There is that link to research ideas. Your teachers can put that up on the board, or it is also in your process journal link. And so that's where you can get the ideas of where to research. Some advice: if you find a really good website or a video link, immediately copy and paste it into your annotated bibliography document so you can easily find it the next day if you don't have time to create the MLA or APA citation, or so you have it for use when you work on your product in December. Save those URLs so you can easily find them again in the future. So to work on your annotated bibliography, it will be in your Google Classroom, and it's this document. So it's this one. You have video directions when you get to creating the APA or MLA citations, with directions of how to use those sources for how to create those. This is the link to research type ideas, so you have easy access, and there's a link to an example for an annotated bibliography. So you are going to create 5 annotated bibliographies. Hopefully you've seen these before in other classes. If not, this would be a good transfer skill. So when you have to do annotated bibliographies for other classes, your teachers might have slightly different format. But remember your ATLs, one of those skills is transfer skills that you can use. Which one is it? Use things you've learned in other classes to across multiple subjects and disciplines. So you can use this skill in other classes when teachers say annotated bibliography. So as you find sources, when you find a really good source, just copy that link right in here so you always have that URL access. If it was a YouTube video or a good book title that you came across, whatever, always save stuff here. So let me show you an example. So this is an example if your project was on exploring career options and you might want to do a job in nail tech and cosmetology. So for this student, they found a local business owner, Quinn Nguyen, who owns a nail salon, and interviewed that business owner to get an idea. So who is the author? I am the author because I wrote the interview questions and conducted the interview. But I would also cite the name of the person I interviewed. Include that date, so when you have to go back and create your MLA or APA citation, you have that date saved. What type of source? So is it an interview? Is it a Google search? Is it a book? Is it a movie? Whatever. That's an important thing, so you're aware of how diverse your research and what sources you're going to for this research. I'll come back to this link in a second. Why this source? Was it a how-to video that helped you learn how to play guitar? Was it a day that you shout out an expert in the community? Whatever that is, give your justification of why this is a useful source. This is very similar to the OPVCL that you do in history classes. 10th graders are probably more familiar with this. This is how you justify why this, like where this source came from. How does this help you with your project? This is where you validate that this is a useful source. So for this student, they interviewed a business owner in a nail salon, and it helped them understand the day in the life of that job compared to her perspective of just being a customer in that store. Some of the limitations of the source. This is where you're reflecting on the value the values up here. This is your limitation. So the business owner only has her perspective. It's not every business owner in the world. It's just that one person's job and what they love about it. So it doesn't answer every question about how to become a licensed nail technician. It maybe didn't answer all of those questions about how to get educated to get that job and earn that licensure, or how you would pay for that education to get that job. And then this is that citation from Scribner or EasyBib to cite it correctly. So that is what a annotated bibliography should look like. You'll have 5 of these. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you need each of these for your annotated bibliography where you write about it. If you come across more sources that you need or would be useful for your product to work on it, like more how-to videos, you can just put those links down here for 9th graders. 10th graders, make sure you're doing the full APA citation so you have it for your paper that you're going to turn in March. So hopefully that is enough. Please reach out if you need more information or more support on how to do an annotated bibliography. Again, that's in Google Classroom. It's that document. You have the month of November. You probably won't see any more of these videos from me throughout the month because it's all dedicated to work time. You can see each day is just dedicated to continuing to work, and it's slowly there's reminders that you have how many days you have left and what number of annotated source you should be on. These might change depending on how the month of November shakes out, but that will be your reminder for what you're working on. If you finish your annotated bibliography early or you're struggling with it, you can do process journals 12 or 13 throughout the month of November to make sure that you're documenting your progress. So those are optional. If your research is going well and you really need all that work time for annotated bibliography, you can skip these process journal entries. The numbers might be different for 9th graders. But if you're stuck or you want to track some interview questions that you might ask someone in the community, you could put those here so that you don't lose them. If you are interviewing someone in the community, there is a link to possible interview questions that you might ask if you're doing like exploring careers. So that is a link that you could use if you're struggling to write questions for a possible interview of an expert in the community. Reach out with questions. I am here to help. Make sure you're using your time well throughout November to get this done. In December, you will start working towards completing your product. So you need this research. You have all of that information so that you are ready to use this research on your product to work on that through November or through December, maybe over winter break if you have that ability, and then into January when you're working on your product. Reach out with questions. Please, please, please don't wait until the end of November to say, I don't know how to research. I'm here to help.